some trans people, when transitioning, or before transitioning, their sexuality changes. For whatever reason. I mean, there's not many studies done to things like this, but it's kind of like in the community you hear stories of like trans men who became attracted to women when they transitioned. And that could be a lot of reasons for this. There's a lot of theories based on, like, chemicals in the brain, hormones and whatnot. My own experience with sexuality and being trans is I realised I was pansexual about the time I also realised I was trans. So it was kind of an interesting combination. And when I came out, it was as if I was like, it was as if I suddenly became more attracted to women. And I wasn't on testosterone at that point, so it wasn't anything chemically. I believe this was all due to societal pressures of how men should act, and I was kind of like making up for what I felt was my own lack of masculinity by acting in stereotypically masculine ways, which was not good, because then you just I ended up acting like someone I wasn't. And since I started testosterone, I chilled out a lot in a lot of regards, but in this regard, I kind of realised that I'm pretty equally attracted to all genders, and I was kind of bigging up my attraction to women in a way to make up for whatever I felt I was lacking. And it's very interesting how some people's sexuality changes. I mean, I'm not sure if I don't think it actually changes, but then again, I'm no scientist. I don't know the actual logic behind it all, but I feel like perhaps when someone realises they're trans, they're also then more open to realising perhaps they're not as straight as they once thought, or maybe they're attracted to someone else, or maybe it legitimately changes. I don't know. There's not a lot of solid evidence for this. But personally, the only change I had in my sexuality was when I was, essentially just pretending. So that's all I've got to say about that. But like, there's a lot of intersectionality in that. A lot of trans people are also either gay or bi or pan or whatever. There's a few straight ones as well, obviously, but they're actually lesser, and there's a much higher percentage of LGBT trans people. Well, obviously there's a T there, but who than like cisgender people. So I find that pretty interesting. I think it's something to do with more open-mindedness. Maybe you just become more willing to accept these things, but they're not particularly intertwined in such, except for the fact that they're all under LGBT, which isn't really accurate because being gay is different to being trans, but blah blah blah. There's a fair bit of overlap, so I'll take it. But sexuality and trans are just generally pretty different topics. I mean, when my nana said to me, she goes, "Oh, Lee, if you like men as well, why are you changing?" And I was like, "Nana, I'm not doing this to be straight, My gender identity and my sexual orientation are so far removed from each other, except in that time where I was bigging up my attraction to women, that it's like, I don't understand why people think this really connected. Like, so are you really gay? Get that a lot. No. But